Hey everybody, this is Frilioth and welcome to another episode of the Minecraft Survival Manual. In this episode, myself and Avo are going to show you how to get airborne. So if you haven't already done this, pop over at the end of the video and see how Avo has got on with getting himself off the ground and using the Elytra, because it can be quite tricky and to be honest, they're not the easiest things to use, but once you get the hang of it, they are invaluable. They really are. You can't play the game, or certainly can't explore and enjoy the game anywhere near as much if you don't have a pair of Elytra. But because of how I finished the last episode by jumping off into the end, I don't have any levels, so I can't put them. Before I start using my Elytra, I want to put some enchants on them, and I can't do that without levels. So what I'm going to do is run off down into my mine and see if I might even go outside and see if I can fight some bad guys, but I need to get myself a couple of levels. Probably 10, maybe 11 levels should get me started, and then we'll make some rockets and we'll see if we can get up in the clouds. Well, instead of going into my mines and digging coal and stuff like a commoner, I decided to pop into the nether. So I went into the nether, grabbed myself some nether quartz, and that's given me 17 levels, which should be more than enough. So I'm going to stick. We've got our Elytra. There's a little bit of damage on it because I messed about with it while we were in the end. But I'm going to we've got a couple of books from fishing. I'm going to stick on some books. I'm going to stick on mending, because mending is fantastic and you should put it on everything except maybe your bow. If you want to use infinity, you can't use mending and infinity together, but I'm going to put mending on my Elytra. I'm also going to put unbreaking 3 on my Elytra, and I'm also going to try and put protection 4. Now you'll have to forgive me, I didn't think this was possible prior to 1.14. I'm going to give it a go now, but I'm not holding out much hope for it. So I'll stick mending on to start with, and then I'll stick unbreaking on. Now I'm going to try and stick protection 4 on, and it doesn't work. I didn't think it did. That's a shame. It would have been nice to get protection 4 on it. Let's call these Fril's wings of steel. It's going to cost me 4 to name it. Is that right? I thought it only cost me 1. 4. I should have named it to start with, shouldn't I? This goes back to what I was saying prior to this, back in the episode when we were doing the enchanting. Name it first, because it accumulates a cost. So later on, when you come to name it, it's now going to cost me 4 instead of costing me 1. It's schoolboy error. Fril's wings of steel. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Fabulous. So we've got our wings, and the Elytra go where your chest plate goes, like we did in the last episode. So I've now got myself a spanking pair of wings. Look at that, don't they look fetching? Fabulous. So now what we need is we're going to need some fireworks, because the wings are great, but they only allow you to glide. And fireworks are the way forward. And to make a firework, you just get some paper, you get some gunpowder. I haven't managed to get lots yet. We've got 54 firework rockets, and they're going to help us get off the ground. Now there are a couple of ways on how to get off the ground using your Elytra and a firework rocket, but before you start, it's important to know only use firework rockets that you've created using gunpowder and paper. If you've got a firework where you've put a firework star in it, or an explosive charge in your firework, if you try and use that to get yourself off the ground or use it while you're flying, you will take damage. Okay, so only use the firework rockets that were made using gunpowder and using paper. As I say, if you try and use a firework that makes pretty patterns and everything in the sky, it might look nice behind you, but it will cause you damage, and we don't want that to happen, do we? So the first way we're going to do is the way that everybody learns how to fly in the first place, and that's by jumping off somewhere really high. Now it's always, and I repeat, always beneficial to jump off somewhere high into water, because if you don't, you will take damage, and if you don't have a decent pair of boots on, then you could quite easily kill yourself. So if I were to jump off of here and then try and deploy my Elytra, if you're not used to doing it, you could quite easily hurt yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump off here. I'm going to make a little platform. So now I'm going to jump off here, and as long as I deploy my Elytra, okay, I'm going to float off and disappear off into the sunset. If I don't, I'm just going to land in water and everybody's going to be happy. Now there's a knack to doing this. Don't just go spamming your space bar like a lot of people do. There is a knack to it. First of all, you either walk off or you jump off. It's entirely up to you. But as soon as you're airborne, as soon as you're off the ground, you need to double tap your space bar. And it's the double tapping of your space bar that activates your Elytra. You'll see me nervously looking around. Really, I should have... Let me just check. I'm terrible. If anything sneaks up behind me now, it's my own fault. Okay, so we're gonna jump off the edge, and then you'll hear me double tap. I'm not recording actually in my normal soundproof office, and you can probably tell by the echo that I'm actually in quite a noisy office because I'm working away for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. But anyway, you've got to work with what you've got. So you'll probably be able to hear me tapping the keyboard, and you only have to double tap it twice, or double tap it once, tap it twice, double tap it. I'm confusing you. Just jump off the edge, double tap, and as soon as you start flying, then you can right click, as long as you've got your rocket in your hand, and it doesn't matter which hand it's in. It can be in your left hand, it can be in your right hand, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we'll have it now offhand. We'll jump off the edge, and then you'll hear me double tap, and then I'll activate. Perfect. And then I'll activate the Elytra, and we should fly off. See, you might have heard it, you might not have heard it, but when you're airborne, double tap and it activates your Elytra, and now we're flying. Look at this. Look, Ma, no hands. And we can't go too far because I don't have a great deal of rockets. Let's see if we can have a shifty over here and find Avo's base. I know he was over this way. Now I'm using... Whoa! Never been shot out of the sky before, actually. No, can't find it. Don't know where he lives. Now I'm probably going to get lost. Now the duration of your... Oh, thank goodness for my beacon. The duration of your rocket depends on how many pieces of gunpowder you use. We only use one piece of gunpowder, so we've got a power 1 rocket, I guess you'd call it. If you used 3 pieces of gunpowder, it would allow you to fly for much further with one rocket. But I prefer, if I'm being honest, the set fighter stuff. I prefer using the single rocket, the single gunpowder rocket, rather than anything more than that. And to land, oh, I've missed it. You just come in and plonk yourself down. Now, if you come in like a Stuka, heading for the ground, you will take damage. Okay, so do not nosedive into the ground from any height. You'll take damage. I am going to go and sleep, get rid of this thunderstorm, because nobody likes trying to fly when you're in a thunderstorm. Fabulous. So now that's gone. So the first way and the easiest way, jump off something that's quite high up, double tap, activate your Elytra, and then right click, and you'll fly, you'll take off. Now, if I were to look at the ground now and right click, I'll set the rocket off, which is no good to anybody. Now, the second way to get off the ground, and this is a lot more complicated, it's a lot more difficult to do, you have to jump, and when you're in the air, you double tap. And this is when people start spamming the keyboard. You can do that. If that's the way you want to do it, you can do that. But if you time it correctly, you jump and then double tap, and then you right click the mouse button and that should get you airborne. Now, I've done this on occasion. I don't do it every time, but it is possible. But look up. Don't try and do it when you're looking at the ground, otherwise you'll just spam loads of rockets and they'll all shoot off up into the sky. So you need to be looking at whichever way you want to go, and then jump, double tap, and then right click your mouse button. Oh, look at that. First time. Like a pro. You do get used to it, and it's not impossible to do. You do get used to it. Now, as I say, I mean, you can go up to miles if you want to. If you come into the ground like that, and you hit the ground like that, you will take damage as if you're falling. Okay, so don't do it. You wouldn't do it in a plane. Don't do it wearing your Elytra. So there you go. That's how you get off the ground using Elytra. Am I going to be able to do it while I'm looking at the camera? That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Jump, double tap, spacebar, right click mouse. Like a pro. And it's almost impossible to fly like this because you've no idea where you're going. And I'm just going to finish up flying into something. So I'm going to stop. So let's see if we can land outside the man cave. Golf Papa November India X-ray on final. Oh yeah. Pilot training. Brilliant. So now we've sorted that out. We've got ourselves our Elytra. We've got ourselves some rockets. I'm going to make myself some more chests now. Some more of these. Crikey, I thought we'd lost them then. So to make a shulker box, you need to make yourself some normal chests. Like that. Make some more. And then the chest in the centre, shulker boxes top and bottom, and there we've got ourselves 11 shulker boxes, and each one of these you can stick in whatever you like. Now, as a rule, I try and keep my redstone in one, I'll keep my dyes in another, I'll keep, thanks to Smurf, who gave me the idea a while ago, I put my a spare set of armour and weapons and food and stuff I might need in case I die while I'm fighting and I need to equip myself rather quickly. And you can also dye them, which is brilliant. And it's very easy to dye them. Let's go and grab. I'm running about without any dye. Let me go and grab some dye. Okay, so I've picked up some red dye, I've picked up some yellow dye, I've picked up some blue dye, and we'll first of all make our redstone box. So if we put our redstone shulker box there and put a bit of dye next to it, we can make ourselves a red shulker box. Now, invariably, and I pretty much do it all the time, I will always make my redstone box out of red dye, and that way it's just easy to see what it is. And then I'm just going to name it Phil's redstone box. And that way, if you're on a server and look, it only costs me one enchantment point because I'm doing it right at the beginning before I've done anything else to it. So if you're now on a server and you leave your redstone box lying around, people are going to know that it's yours. And then I can put that down on the floor, grab all of my redstone, and stick it in my redstone box. Now, if you wanted to, you can order this any way you want, really. If you want to keep it all nice and tidy, obviously that's entirely up to you. I'm a little bit messy, but now I can carry all my redstone stuff about, and if I wanted to clear out all of this stuff, I could fill my entire ender chest with shulker boxes, which would give me a massive amount of storage, and it's transportable because you can carry it around in your ender chest. So I think I'll call it a day for today, everybody. I know it's been a little bit shorter than usual, but as I say, I'm not recording in the ideal place right now, and my audio's not as good as it should be. Anyway, I'm making excuses. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to leave it a like. Don't forget to go over and see how Avo's got on with his brand new pair of wings. And if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Frilioth, and I'm out of here.